and a 3, and a 2, and a 1. Is that me having a sing-song, or is it my current overall rank in UCL fantasy? Well, you cheeky scrubs, this geezer right here, who's shite at every other fantasy game, is apparently okay at this one. 300, and why is this number so hard to say? 321st in the world. There you go, quick maths. First in Wales, so, you know, I don't even care about the rest of you. But, I mean, there's 1.2 million members overall and only 2,000 people in Wales. So, you know, does that really mean anything? I don't know. But what it does mean is we actually have a chance to go on and win it. First in the world. Here we go. Fabrizio Romano over here, because it's confirmed, right? Well, last week, pretty damn good, right? Well, good in terms of points, and my rank did go up from, like, I don't know, 400th, 300th, something? Maybe, like, a couple of places. But the best part about it was that it didn't go terribly, because, realistically, it wasn't great. I only had 1 goal, 2 goals, 3 goals, and that's it. And one defender clean sheet, and a goalkeeper clean sheet. And not only that, I didn't have players like De Bruyne, who scored more than Foden. I didn't have Lunin, who scored more than Sommer. And, you know, all of these other players blanked. And somehow, we still got a green arrow. Hey, that's pretty good. It could have been a big boy unlucky, but it wasn't. What also wasn't unlucky is that all of the results, most of them, pretty much all of them, actually went our favour as well. So we're going to have a quick little review and then a quick little preview into next week, all right? Because, well, next week, it's actually still the round of 16, but round 2. You know, that's the way it's going. And they also announced the new UCL format. And I do also want to chinwag about that after this, which we'll get into. So if you're interested in that, you have to stick around. Oh, look at this. Me being a YouTuber. Make sure you dislike right now. Thanks. Make sure you also unsubscribe at that point because, nah, I don't need subs. It's all good. Okay, so the first game saw Real Madrid, Leipzig. Now, this one was the story of Lunin, right? He made 9 saves. And not only that, he's only 4.6 million. Or has he gone up? I don't know. But we're going to say he was 4.6 million. And I almost had him. And I could have had him because I've got Sommer for 4.5. And I also have money in the bank. So I could have easily had him. But thankfully, in the end, it was only 3 points. Because Sommer got the 6. But I also had Edison starting here. Who literally not only conceded, but literally passed the ball to the other player to get the goal, to concede his own clean sheet. Like, I'm surprised he didn't even get an assist for that. It was that bad, right? So that first day, I was literally like, no, that is the biggest unlucky. A 9-point goalkeeper, which I could have had. And I went and got the more expensive Ederson. And I felt like an absolute Ederson because, no. You know that smiley face tattoo emoji on the side of him? I was looking at it upside down because I was proper frowning, all right? But thankfully, again, Sommer brightened up my day. Love Sommer, you know. Summer breeze. So yeah, Real Madrid, I mean, it was the Diaz show, wasn't it? Not only did he get the goal, and not only did I have him, quite a good differential to have as well. I guess that's the main reason I got the big boy green, or even a green at all. Was not only did he score, but he also got the player of the match. So even though he only got 1 goal and 3 balls recovered, he actually scored 1 more point than Foden that got a goal and an assist, and still got balls recovered as well. Clean sheet point for him as well. So there you go. You know, sometimes you just need that good player of the match. And it's as good as a whole, you know. I mean, he did also haul. He did score, but you know what I'm saying. But it's going to be interesting with him now, as we'll get to it in the preview part, is he might not even start. But, because he did so well, is it worth transferring him out? We'll get to that. All right. So, yeah, he did well. Real Madrid did well. Leipzig played well, but they were at home. And, you know, you're expecting them to have some threat. And they did. But Real Madrid, it was more Lunin. He just turned into Prime Casillas, and that was it, really, isn't it? The next, I mean, should I go through all what I think was going to happen in the next leg now or after? I think I'll go after, because I just love chatting shite. I love the sound of my own voice. At least that makes one of us, because half of you probably clicked off by now. But that doesn't matter, all right? We're going to have chinwag, we're going to have some fun, all right? Get some tinnies in and have a laugh. So what was also a laugh was that I had Haaland captain in the first day. And even though Man City scored 3 goals, he had absolutely fruit goal. Right, Haaland and Darwin Núñez have just swapped right now because Haaland, literally, if you saw that chance he had against Man United, he literally could have stood still and he would have scored. But he missed. He stretched his leg bloody above his head like this and hit it over the bar. Now, when your striker is doing stuff like that, it's not one you can trust. So everybody sell him, get rid of him. Because I want his points to myself. Thank you, please. But no, yeah, he didn't get a goal in the 3-1. I mean, it was away and they still scored 3 goals. And he still had loads of chances to score. So no, do not sell him. If you want to do bad, you should sell him if you want to do good. Good for helping me, thank you. But yeah, Man City, it was more the Foden on it, goal and assist, and De Bruyne got the goal and assist as well. I didn't have De Bruyne, but I mean, to be fair, the only players I would have got rid of for De Bruyne was probably downgrading the defence, which did fuck all mainly. But Hakimi did well, so I probably wouldn't have had him, so there you go. And also, I guess, you know, I mean, the fact that I've got Ederson, Ake, and Haaland and Kane on my bench, those were the players' points that I got rid of in the end. I had to bin. All of those could score like 15 points in any other game, you know? So that just shows the strength of the squad. Or the weakness of it, I guess, you know? But yeah, Man City, I mean, as expected, won there, didn't they? PSG, a real saucy dad. It was a saucy dad game, actually, wasn't it? For real. Because PSG, I mean, it's just a difference of quality, really, isn't it? Saucy dad looked like they could have scored all the goals. They played well. But then when you've got players like Mbappe, who not only got the goal for us, he also got player of the match, and he was my captain the second day. And I was really tempted to risk it for a biscuit. I was like, you know what? Yes, I am. I think at that time, after that game, I was like 500th in the world. And I was like, you know what? Do I risk... Oh, no, it's probably higher than that. But I was like, do I risk it, changing it to Saka and that? And I'm bloody well thankful that I didn't, because that would have actually been the biggest unlucky. Actually, I've got a thing for that. Does it work? Oh, it didn't work. Unlucky. Yeah, that's what it would have been. But yeah, PSG, I mean, 2-0, you would say, yeah, that you know that's as expected. But if you actually watch the game, it wasn't. But so we'll definitely take the Mbappe points. I mean, the Zaire Emery, I mean, he only got 4 points. But for 5.3 million midfielder, outscoring a lot of my other players, I'll definitely take that there. Lazio Bayern, oof. Oof, that's all I have to say. Thomas Tuchel. Oh dear. Why have Bayern gone from, you know, good managers, good. They love going on the forward front, you know. They just love playing ball. And then they get Thomas Tuchel in. I mean, you might as well just get some random geezer that nerds Football Manager all the time. And I bet you he'll probably have better tactics than Tuchel, because you have all this quality, all these good players, and you're losing to Lazio with Guendouzi being player of the match. That just says it all, really, doesn't it? Thankfully, I did only have a king, because I was very tempted to get in a Musiala as well, and get in like a Sane. Well, no, I think Sane was injured in the end, was he? Or I think he is now. You know, I was almost going to get a Kimmich as well. I'm not sure how many points he did score, but he's not been playing great recently either. And Bayern are just not doing great. So, you know, I'm kind of glad I've only got one. But we'll get to the potential transfers in a minute. Maybe it will be less than that. Oh, we'll get to that. PSV Dortmund, I mean, as expected, PSV are a good team. I think people underestimated them, but I think 1-1 is a fair game because Dortmund are the better team, but PSV at home, so, you know, that's just the way it goes. And that could go either way in the other ones, in the second leg, so I'm pretty excited for that one. Inter Atletico, I mean, the fact that I did get Calhanoglu and Sommer, that's the way I was back in. I mean, Sommer didn't even have to make a single save. So I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I mean, it's obviously good for the clean sheet points, but it just shows how bad Atletico were. Calhanoglu didn't really get much. One away from... if he recovered one more ball, he would have recovered my ball because he had one extra point. But, you know, that just didn't happen. And then Porto Arsenal. I mean, what a smash and grabber, right? Gelano, look at these points. Bruh. What am I looking at? 19 points in one game. 1 assist, 2 goals, player of the match. Nothing, didn't play. Ooh, we got a cheeky little assist too. Look at me, show off. Nah, never mind. 22 points for 2 goals, 2 assists. And then even in a round of 16 game, 1 goal, still getting a 12-pointer. Against Arsenal as well. Damn, son. That was pretty good. I mean, for me, having double Arsenal, it was not pretty good. Not at all. And the fact that that clean sheet was lost in literally the last minute when Saliba would have been on for the points, you know, terrible. But I guess quite a lot of people probably have double Arsenal defence, so it's probably not terrible. but still not good. I just want points. I don't care about effective ownership. I mean, I should at my rank, but nah, I just want points. That's the whole point of playing fantasy, right? And then finally, Napoli-Barca. I mean, Lewandowski got a goal and got player of the match. Quite surprised by that. Osimhen also scored. So basically, I chose Haaland and Kane, and every other striker in the world got points apart from them. Nice one. It's nice to know the pain isn't just in FPL. It's in every fantasy game, right? But thankfully, that pain wasn't too painful because we did get the... What did we get? 73 points. And with all the subs and my captain, although it wasn't an amazing week, it wasn't terrible at all, right? We did get the captain haul. We did get one differential haul. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all you need to get, isn't it? And, you know, I'm at a little bit of a crossroads, you know. I'm twisting my nipples over, like, ooh, what could be, right? I'm 321st in the world. Could I win it? I'm only 50 points off first. But realistically, if I do want to win it, I need to go... Well, I don't need to go differential, right? But if you've got most of the same players, where are you going to make the gains? But... I think that is the biggest load of baloney you can ever hear, right? Because actually, that's where you do wrong. That's when you start making suboptimal moves, right? Because, you know, people could look at their team like, oh, I didn't do too well. Maybe I'll get out an Mbappe and Kane and get in Osimhen, captain him instead, you know? You could do stuff like that. But the problem is, as soon as you make one differential move, which realistically is a bad move, you're only doing it because it's different. Not only... If that fails, which is more likely to fail because that's the whole point of it being differential. If when it fails, you'll be down on those points. And then you'll probably, once you make one mistake, you're probably trying to make all these moves, trying to catch up, and then end up making more mistakes. Where if you literally just looked at your team and not cared about anybody else's, you just focus on getting the most points from just your team, you're going to end up doing a lot better. So there you go. Maybe I'm not just a pretty face. Maybe I don't just chat shite. Maybe I do give some good advice. But actually... Oh, sorry, microphone, I'm sorry. I do actually have one very good piece of advice I'm about to give you right now, which I haven't seen from anybody else. Do you know why I haven't seen anybody else say it? Because I don't watch any other UCL fantasy content, really. But, you know, that's besides the point. Where we go on to our preview with our team looking like this. And if you guys didn't know, because the first and second leg... You now get 3 transfers. 3 lovely transfers, even though we're still in the round of 16, right? So no teams have been knocked out yet. 3 more transfers. Lovely jubbly. But it gets better than that, right? Because if you look at the rules, next match day, which will be when teams get knocked out, we'll have 5 free transfers. Ooh, now that is tasty. But even better than that... During the group stage, if you don't use your free transfers between match days, you'll be able to carry 1 forward to the next match day. So if you only use 2 transfers in this match day, still in the round of 16, but part 2, if you use only 2 transfers out of the 3 in this match day, you will then have 6 for next week, which not only will be super important because anybody who gets knocked out, you can just transfer in players that are still in the tournament, but... You can also go one step further and optimize your squad. You're not just getting in players that are still in and just getting out the ones that have been knocked out. You can actually get in the best players right now and be one step ahead of everybody else. So that's exactly what I'm going to do right here, right? Because we do have 2 free transfers. Well, 2 transfers. You could make more than 2. You could make more than 3, 4, 5, but obviously hits. And my rank... I don't need to do any hits because, I mean, I have a playing team, right? And looking at the team, the only players that I'm worried about is probably about half of them. But it's not as bad as it seems, right? So if I go through them, Harold Kane. You just got caned. You just got caned. You just got caned. If you have no idea what I mean, then you probably just think I have about 2 brain cells. And I'm like, what is this geez on about? Type in you just got caned and... You'll know. That's all I need to say. Okay. So, Kane. Bayern against Lazio. Now, Lazio, they're a weird team, right? Because in stuff like Champions League, you kind of look at, like, the league that they're in. You kind of look at, like, what they've been doing the past season. But Lazio, if you look at their players, they don't have, like, a world-class squad. I mean, do they even have, like, world-class players? On their day, yes. You know, Immobile. He's not quite immobile. Sometimes he can move and score. And then they do have good goalkeeper and some good defenders, you know. But are they a match for Bayern when Bayern at home? Normally, you would say, no, Bayern probably could beat them 2-3-0. But then when you have Thomas Tuchel tax, then that just kind of ruins it, really, doesn't it? But they do really need to win. And Lazio, yes, is only a 1-goal advantage. But I think just having that 1-goal advantage and you're going to be playing away, I think they're going to be in such defense mode from the start. I think that's probably going to end up biting them in the ass. Because as soon as Bayern get a quick goal, or a goal at any point, you're very much doubting that Lazio are going to get back into the game at all. So game state-wise, I think this game does actually favour someone like a Kane. I think he's going to be constantly attacking the entire game. If they get one, even if they get 2-1 or 2-1 up, I think they're just going to be all out attacking still because the mindset switch to go into a game defensive and then switch it after so much into it. I don't know if Lazio can do that. I mean, I'm pretty much just talking out my arse now. I'm only saying this because I've got Kane and I want him to score the goals. But that's just what we do in football, right? That's just punditry. You say what you want to happen and then back it up with completely useless information. And there you go. Good job. I'm not even lying though, mate. Real Sociedad against Paris, though. Now, that one is one that is proper like, because Paris, PSG, I hate that it says Paris up here. Paris FC. I didn't realise they were in the Champions League. Come on, lads. You're in League 2, aren't you? Liga 2. You know, not the Uber Eats one where they get the little RC car and drive it on the pitch. No, not that one. They have Deliveroo Man instead. Just, boop, boop, here's a ball. See, welcome to Chat FC. Real Sociedad. I mean, they're at home. They can score all the goals. So, defensive-wise, Hakimi's probably not great, right? But the good thing about this fixture is that it's first. So, one, if for whatever reason any of my PSG players aren't playing, I could look to transfer them out before, because the deadline is the kickoff of that game, right? So we know who's starting, so we don't need to risk and try and predict there. Because if for whatever reason, actually we'll get to, you know, Mbappe might not even start. Oh, scary. We'll get to that. But yeah, it's not a great defensive fixture for Hakimi, but good thing is nobody bloody gets him in for defensive stuff, so he just gets all of the attacking returns. I say this. He's got one goal there. And he's got 2 clean sheets. So maybe it is for the clean sheets. But he is a guy that can just go and score a brace. And you're like, where did that come from? Oh, wait, never mind. He's literally a right winger. But yeah, I think with Sociedad being 2-0 down and at home, they're going to be so attack. I think that's actually going to favour PSG more because PSG have a lot of good players. But do they have like players that can break down a low block? Yes, but I feel like one of their bigger strengths is pace. And when a team's 2-0 down and at home and you're just completely all-out attack, I think this is going to play into the hands of PSG so easily. I think Sociedad are going to play really well. They could even get a goal in. And then all of a sudden, boom, one counter-attack, goal, PSG. Where did that come from? That's just the way it's going to go. Boom, another goal. Boom, another goal. PSG hat-trick. Mbappe hat-trick. Good night. I'm first in the world. See? This is what I mean. Punditry. You just say whatever you want to happen, and that's basically the truth, right? But no, problem is Mbappe. I'd say Mbappe's been a naughty boy, but he's just decided to like not die in PSG because he's been there for about 17 years now. He's been off to Real Madrid potentially every summer for about 20 years. I swear he came out of the womb being linked to Real Madrid. That's literally how his career's gone, right? But he is definitely leaving PSG at the end of the summer. And because of that, he has not been starting every game. He has also not been playing a lot of every game. So as soon as he announced that he isn't staying at PSG, he didn't start the next game. He then did start the one after, got subbed off at half time. He then started the one after that, got subbed off after like 60 minutes. Now, is it going to be different in the Champions League? Probably, right? It's got to be, right? You've got to keep on your best players, right? But there is that little doubt in my brain right here, this 2 brain cell brain, that Mbappe might be one to transfer out. Because, yes, looking at it, this game could favour him. He's also just one of the best players in the world. You know, he could score against anybody, but Sociedad are actually, on paper, probably the best fixture potentially here, attacking-wise. They're not good at keeping the goals out. But because of that, would you take a 60-minute Mbappe over a 90-minute other striker, where not only is it a 90-minute other striker, it's in a team that are probably going to be attacking the entire time, whereas PSG could quite easily just sit back and defend and counter-attack if and when it comes? I mean, probably still is worth it, but is it? We'll get to it. All right, so right now, I'm not too happy with that triple PSG, because I don't know if Zaire Emery is going to bloody start as well. He hasn't been starting the last few games. But again, like we said, it's the first game. My microphone just got excited. This will be me if Mbappe scores a hat-trick and I keep him, all right? So, ooh, down, good boy. Down. Keep it down, keep it down. So, yeah, Mbappe could get all the goals, but we actually need him to be on the pitch, and that is potentially a big worry. If he does stay on the pitch, all of the goals. Zaire Emery. But yeah, the game is before the deadline, so don't make your transfers until you see the lineups. If you can't wait till then just delete the app. You've got no chance of competing against anybody else anyway, but you know. But yeah, as soon as you see the lineups, that's when you can actually consider and look at what transfers you might do. Because if Mbappe isn't starting, if they go in a super defensive lineup, then it might even be you might as well consider getting rid of him and seeing what else you could do with your team. Because as I'll show you at the end, my potential transfers, is actually a bit tastier than just having Mbappe, but we'll get to that. Okay, so I mean we chat shit for about 20 minutes and we're not even looked at one single transfer. I'm sorry, but I'm also not sorry. I don't care. This is what I want to do, all right? Oh, why does it say transfer deadline and subs deadline? We don't get transfers in between there. Huh? Have they fucked that up? Or can you make a transfer during then? Wait, what? Can you? I mean, I haven't done that. Oh, maybe I don't know anything. Maybe I didn't read the rules. Anyway, Real Madrid, I only have Brahim Diaz, which is a problem because Bellingham is back. Belly goal! I mean, Bellingham could probably score even if he wasn't on the pitch. I mean, he's got a red card in... well, actually, he did score and then got sent off when the game was over, so technically he wasn't on the pitch, so there you go. But he is back, and he's just one of the best players in the world. And not only is that a concern because I don't have him, it's a concern because he starts in place of Brahim Diaz, who, yes, did very well last game. But if Bellingham is fit, which he is in both ways, he will start, right? But not only that, he's now got a red card in the league, so you don't even need to consider or risk that from the league, right? He's just come back from injury, but if he's banned from the league for a few games, then you've got to play him in the Champions League, right? Because he's got time to recover elsewhere, so... You know, that's what I'm kind of thinking right now. So that is a big concern for me. But Leipzig are a weird one. They could concede 3 goals and then still end up winning like 5-3. So it's like, is it a team to target or not? I don't really know. Man City, though, is a team to target. Thankfully, I've got quadruple. I mean, if Ederson doesn't give a clean sheet away with a bloody nice assist to the other team again, that would be appreciated because we got the double there. Oh, yeah, the fixtures have swapped, haven't they? Because I think it was Arsenal last week, but it's not this week. But that's actually all right, because I do have a Dortmund player. I do have 2 Inter players. And then I've got a few players from here. So on the last day, I've got 3 players to sub in after. So it's actually quite good with all the sub-rooney that's going on. Did I plan that? I mean, yeah, a little bit, but you got to choose players first over strategy like that. That's just an extra bonus, right? What is a bonus? Man City players going to score all the goals, and that's that. We'll go through the captains at each stage, the potential as well, after as well. So yeah, we don't need to look at the Man City players. I mean, you could try and squeeze in a De Bruyne, downgrade one of these strikers, but get him in for who? I mean, probably, maybe Calhanoglu, but I don't know about that. But yeah, Arsenal, I mean, they weren't great in the first leg. Did they have like 0 shots on target for the first time this season or something like that? But they are Arsenal. They do have Kai Havertz, the best Champions League player ever, right? They also have a very favourable fixture year. Well, favourable in terms of the way it's going to go, I think. I think Porto, now that they're 1-0 up, now that they saw how last week went, where they can sit back and hold that defense, the 72-year-old Pepe is just going to knock every ball out and just keep them in the lead, and they could just get a counter-attack opportunity. I think that's what they're going to do, but I think that actually helps Arsenal, because Arsenal are definitely a team that can beat a low block and a team's just sitting back, right? Am I saying that because I've got double Arsenal, I want all the points? Yes, but it's also true. Why is it true? Because I want it to be true. Welcome to sports punditry. Yes. But yeah, I'm happy with the double Arsenal there. Are they going to hold? I don't know, but whatever. And the Barca-Napoli one's a weird one. Napoli are starting to do well, and Barca has got some injuries, but they are both teams who are just completely depends on what team turns up on the day, right? Hopefully the one that can actually kick the ball, but you don't know with these teams. And the only player I do have in that fixture is Di Lorenzo, who hasn't been doing great this season, but he is he still a captain? I mean, he was, so he still is now. That's the rules, I didn't make them. So I still have him, and he does score well in the Champions League. He does get all the ball recoveries and all of that, and hopefully some clean sheets. But yeah, the fact that they're away, I'm like, it's not an amazing fixture, but I don't think it's one to target, so we'll see about that. I say this, wait till my transfer potential after, and you'll be like, hang on, surely you want 7-0 Barcelona. We'll get to that. And then finally, Dortmund PSV. I mean, Dortmund, you would think that they could get the job done, but I don't know, Dortmund are weird, aren't they? Because they brought back Sancho. Sancho is still pretty much ass, but he can just turn it on randomly. Royce is unfortunately probably past it. And the fact that on loan Chelsea player is one of their best players says it all, really. But they are just one of those teams that, like, as a unit, they just work well, which is bad for fantasy because there's no one real player to target. I mean, Marlon has been scoring points. He did score last week, but I don't have him, so he's not going to score this week, right? And then we do have Atletico Inter. Now, unfortunately, I do only have 2 Inter players. And the fact that they won 1-0 at home and then they're away, and a team like Inter feel like they're just going to sit back and counter-attack, 5 at the back, you know, that kind of jazz. They are a good counter-attacking team, to be fair. But I don't think a counter-attacking game is great for Calhanoglu, because I kind of see him more as like, you know, one to unlock the defense, you know, play those line-splitting passes and other buzz phrases that I can just say that makes it sound like I know what I'm talking about. But yeah, he's away from home. I see him probably a more defensive role. Is he even starting? I don't think he started last game, but they are like 12 points ahead in the league, so maybe just having a bit of a rest, a bit of a snooze, a bit of a fortnight on the side, you know. There's nothing wrong with that. Maybe like 10 years ago, but yeah. And then Sommer, I mean, hopefully Ederson keeps a clean sheet this time and doesn't bloody kill his own clean sheet, because I actually want points there, but also his fixture is a lot nicer than Atletico Madrid away, so hopefully it doesn't come to Sommer clean sheet, but if it does come to it, at least we have a keeper that's probably going to make at least a few saves at the end of it, you know. So after 28 minutes, we've come to the conclusion that my team's just the best in the world. I'm going to finish first in the world. That's pretty much it, right? If you're still here, why? But thank you, but why? I mean, you tell me. But transfers, let's finally get to it, right? Transfer them all out. Take 12 hits. I don't want to come first in the world. 100,000th in the world. No, pranked. Okay, so I think the only real risks of starting right here are Brahim Diaz, maybe Azaya or Emery, but the fact that he's playing first and he's 5.4 mil, I'm happy to leave him in for now. And then everybody else probably will start unless there is some injury concern. But the only ones I'm not really liking is actually Mbappe. Because even though the fixture-wise, it's annoying because fixture-wise and team-wise and player-wise, he's perfect for this type of fixture and the scenario of being 2-0 up, counter-attack, all the goals, right? And he takes pens and all that as well. But the fact that PSG are just like, you know what, no, we hate you now. You're not going to play every game. You're not going to play 90 minutes. And because of that, is that going to make Mbappe, like, almost not try now? Because he's like, you know what, I'm done, yeah? But then again, it's the Champions League, you know? Is that a different scenario? They got to keep him on for the 90 minutes in the Champions League? Probably, but you can only go off the information you've got, right? And so far, we've got that he might not play the 90, which is a problem. Could be a problem. And then I guess the only other player I'm not really loving is Calhanoglu because, like I said, away to Inter Milan. No, he is away and he plays for Inter Milan. Away to Atletico, and he's quite expensive. He's not a terrible option, right? He can score, but that's in a much favourable fixture, right? But when they're like away and just chilling, can he do much? I don't know. So, yeah. So, right now, the only transfers I'm considering is Brahim Diaz out and getting in. Belly! Belly goal! Belly! Only problem with that is I need a bank loan. I've got minus 1.1 million. How much could I convince UEFA Champions League Fantasy to give me 1.1 million just for 1 week, just so I could win it? Is it worth it? I mean, I'll chuck you like 50p. How about that, lads? I think that'll be enough. But if it's not, then we have some considerations to make. So, like I said with the Mbappe stuff, yes, he's still a great player. And the problem is that I'm considering as well, if I potentially get rid of him and then they go through, am I going to want him back? Probably, which is another thing to think of about. But it was also a good reason why using only the 2 transfers now and having 6 for next week is going to be good. Because right now, we might not actually have anybody knocked out. We don't have anybody playing each other, I don't think. No. So, if everything goes our way, we won't have any players knocked out. And if we do, it's probably not big players. Man City are through. I've only got one Bayern munching, so we should be munching on some good players still in the fancy, you know? So if we get Mbappe out, we have 10.4 million. Now, coincidentally, Lewandowski is 10.3 million. And I can afford him. So, you know when I said Barca Napoli is probably only going to be like a very close game? I take it all back. 7-0 Barca. Lewandowski has actually been absolutely on it right now. Problem is he going to be on it with injuries? I think De Jong just got injured. I think Pedri, I mean, he looks like he's played about 1,000 games in his life and he's only about 16 years old. So, you know, they're not the strongest. Napoli seem to be getting in their groove a bit now. Their players are starting to get in good form and a good time. Is it wise to get Lewandowski in for someone like Mbappe? Probably not. Will I do it? Maybe. Now, the thing is, if you consider bringing in Bellingham for Diaz, then suddenly going Mbappe to Lewandowski seems sideways, but Bellingham seems so much of an upside. It's like, that right there is sexy and could be worth it, right? But is it worth it? I don't know. It is risky. Now, if I didn't do him, then I would have 6 million for a mid. Now, I haven't actually looked at this, but there's not too many good mids that we could afford that are also probably going to still be here. So we've got this Geese who's been doing well for Sociedad, but are they going to go through? Probably not. We've got Elyounoussi who's actually been scoring as well, but again, Copenhagen aren't going to bloody turn around a 3-1 against Man City, are they? And then, like, we got this Geese again against Man City. That's a no. We haven't really got much. So if we go selected, maybe there's some. So, like, players like a Kimmich, a Rodri, and that, they're just over the 6 mil. And I also can't get another Man City, but, you know, that's besides the point. But then maybe you do consider someone cheeky like a Xavi Simons. But again, he's probably going to be knocked out. So it's a very hard decision whether you actually, like, try and go a little bit cheeky and differential, someone who could score points this week, knowing that they could go out, or you just stick to the plan of, no, you got in players that are likely to still be here next week, so don't get them out, because then you're just potentially using 2 transfers for potentially less points, never mind more, you know, getting out Mbappe, he could go and score an hat-trick. It's not against, you know, it's not going to be unbelievable if that doesn't happen, you know. So, yeah, realistically, there's not many great mids. I mean, Declan Rice, oh, that's not too bad, and he's at home. And he's, well, Arsenal, you back them to go and thing. I actually have the odds here. So, I think Bayern are, like, one of the favourites to get a win. But obviously, a win doesn't mean go through, because depending on the score, like, Sociedad, PSG are equal odds, mainly because Sociedad win 1-0, but PSG would still go through because they're 2-0 up in the leg, you know. But Man City win, Real Madrid win, Arsenal big win, Barca, see, Barca are quite heavy favourites here, so that's one thing that's tickling my pickle over. Dortmund, PSV are equal, so wouldn't really go anybody there. And then Atletico, Inter. That's why maybe Calhanoglu. You know, Inter are the slight favourites, but it's close. It's close. So realistically, I don't bloody know. I mean, you could get somebody in like him who's been doing really well, but again, he's probably going to go out. So, Camavinga, yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, I do have... There's some decent players that could get a random haul, you know. But, like Tuchemani, you could get some points, you know. But realistically, I think the better option probably is going Mbappe out for somebody like a Lewandowski. I mean, we could also afford like a Griezmann, not Vinicius. You know what? If we get out Mbappe, you have a look around, you realise the best player you can get in is Mbappe. There you go. But then we can't get him Bellingham. But I'm going to be really annoying now and say I haven't made up my mind. Because one, it's hard. I mean, I could realistically not make any transfers. But the fact that I can is like, well, I feel like I need to, you know, to try and attack my rank, you know, get even higher. But I don't need to. But also, the fact that my team's pretty good, well set up. I feel like I could try and risk it for a biscuit. But the main fact is that the reason I haven't decided on any transfers is because we do get to see, like I said, we do get to see the PSG lineup before the deadline. And then we can make our decisions within that hour. And even buying, you know, maybe getting out Kane. Because this is one thing about going Kane or Mbappe out. Is I can only captain one of them because they play at the same time. So is it worth having both of them? If I can only captain one and I could have Bellingham instead. So, you know, because if I don't get in Bellingham now, I'm going to want to get him in next week. And I don't think any of these players are going to be out now. So, you know, I mean, Kane might, and that might make it easier, but right now I'm favouring captaining Kane over Mbappe only because I think Kane would get the 90. Is 90 minutes of Kane under Tuchel better than 60 minutes of Mbappe who doesn't want to play for PSG? I don't bloody know. I mean, bloody Lukaku could probably score both of them right now because of the current state. But yeah, that's it. So basically, 37 minutes, and I've basically said no useful information, but I'm 321st in the world, and I'm a cheeky scrub, and I just want to win it. So, you know, wish me luck, and luck doesn't exist, but I want to say it does, because then I can say, unlucky! That's going to be all. If you somehow got to this point, thanks for watching, and this is the team setup, and also remember, sort it by date order, and the players who are playing last, and you can just sub them on, all that, you know. And that's that, but no, it's not, because I didn't fully talk about captains, so let's quickly go through that. So yeah, it's either Kane or Mbappe. Right now I'm thinking Kane because of the 90 minutes, like I said. If not, I mean, yes, you could go Bellingham, but you're gonna go a Man City player, right? So probably Haaland. I mean, Foden in his current form, maybe him instead, but probably Haaland, pens and all that, you know. Then we've got a Saka, so you don't really need somebody like a Lewandowski. And then the last game, if it somehow comes to it, mate, Ian Mate's son. You're being captain, son. You never know. He could make me go first in the world. And if it comes to that, then I'm definitely not finishing first in the world. But, you know. But yeah, that's going to be it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being a cheeky scrub, because I am the biggest of cheeky scrubs. And bye. Good luck. I hope you all lose, because then I more chance of winning. Thanks.
Don't be a cheeky scrub. Subscribe to Nathan Bacon right now. Don't let your memes be dreams.